Good morning, boys and girls. How's everyone doing today? Welcome back. I see a bunch of really big smiles on everyone's face, and that makes me so happy because you all look so well and so prepared for today's lesson. So let's waste no time and let's jump right in. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen so you guys can see all this wonderful information I have for you guys. So can everyone give me a big thumbs up if they can share my screen? If they can see my screen? Okay, great. Let's start. So as you can see from the title of this video, the title of this lesson, we're gonna be learning about Egyptian hieroglyphics. Big word. So first, I have a little message for you guys. I wrote a little message, and can somebody raise their hands and tell me what I wrote on the board? Yes, April. Today is a great day. That's exactly what I wrote. I wrote, today is a great day. I was trying to communicate a message to you guys. I was trying to tell you guys something. Can somebody give me a big thumbs up if they agree with me? Miss Crystal, I do agree with you, so I'm gonna give you a big thumbs up. I love to see that. Yes. Okay. So, has anyone ever thought, what's another way I can write this message without using letters? How could I have written this message without writing these little letters, these A's, these B's, T, G? Mateo? Yeah, I could have drawn it. That's great. I could have drawn it. So today we're going to be learning about how ancient Egyptians communicated. Just how I communicated this message to you, we're going to be learning about how ancient Egyptians communicated message to each other. And Mateo, your idea was really great. Drawing, that's kind of similar to this word that we have here. So, what are hieroglyphics? Can anyone raise their hand and tell me what they think hieroglyphics are, or if they have heard this word before, they see it anywhere? Let's say it together. Hieroglyphics. It's kind of a big fancy word. Yes, April? Yeah, kind of. You've seen like little pictures and stuff. That's a great thought to think about. Because hieroglyphics are kind of like pictures. They kind of look like, in a way, they're like our modern emojis, the ones that I have on the screen right here. So let's get into it. I'm going to explain a little bit more about what hieroglyphics actually are. So, in ancient Egyptians, they used picture words to write, and they called them hieroglyphics. So they had these little symbols, and they used these picture words to write, and they didn't write with like letters the way that we did. So hieroglyphics are very old form of writing, and it started as early as 3000 BC. And it's more complicated to write than we write because it involved so many different symbols. So the English alphabet has 26 different symbols. Can somebody raise their hand? Can someone raise their hand and tell me how many different symbols do you think is that how many different hieroglyphic symbols do you think there are? Anyone? Raise their hand and tell me how many different hieroglyphic symbols you think there are. Carlos? 100? 100 sounds like a good guess, but actually, they consisted of over 1,000 symbols. That sounds like so many. And some symbols represented sounds like our letters, and some represented an entire word. Can you imagine one little symbol representing an entire word? That sounds crazy, right? Isn't that so different than how we write today? So, since we're going to be starting to look at a little picture, we're going to see some art. Since photography is a form of art, we're going to be looking at this image of actual hieroglyphics. And I want you guys to think about some questions that I'm going to put on the board while you guys are looking at this image. I'm going to give you guys like 1 minute, 2 minutes to think about some of these questions. So, what did you know? What did you see in this picture? What do you see? What are some things you see? What do the symbols look like? How do the symbols look? Do they look like any of the symbols we use to communicate today? It's very good to make sure that we're making connections between the past and present. So think about, do any of these symbols look familiar to you guys? Are there any letters? And what do you notice about the art elements in the photo? What do you notice about the lines and the in these symbols? What do you know about the texture? What do you know about the color of the symbols in the picture? So many of you guys, what you don't have to think about all the questions, but I just want you guys to brainstorm and think of some things some things that you notice. I'm gonna give you guys a little time to think, and then we're gonna share out our answers. Okay. Now that everybody had time to think, let's talk about a little bit what I heard everyone share out. So, some observations. I heard a lot of people say that there was a lot of symbols like birds and peoples and objects. I did notice that there was like little symbols that look like birds, and they also had like people and objects. Those are really great observations. Give yourself a pat on the back. And then the symbols did look like little pictures. They kind of looked like little pictures that we use, but we would call them drawings instead of like writing. And they looked like we sometimes draw people and birds in our artwork. So I think they were making a connection. Very great job, Mateo, writing that one. That you saw that they draw people and birds in their artwork. And that's what we do in our artwork, and they're actually doing that in their writing. We write instead of using symbols. That's true. We do write. We write with our pencils and our pens and our markers and our crayons instead of writing these like symbols to communicate words. And in the picture, they have lots of texture. They look smooth, engraved into something else, and this color of the stone. Let's go back to the picture a little bit. So you could see the texture looks smooth, but sometimes it does look a little rough too. In some places, the color, it's like, looks like it wasn't written on paper, right? It looks like it's something else. It looks like it was written somewhere else. So let's learn some more facts about some hieroglyphics. Is everyone with me? Does everyone understand the lesson so far? Give me a big thumbs up if you're following along, right? Okay, great. I see a bunch of smiles on your face. I see everyone's paying attention. That's excellent. I love it. Okay. So, more facts about hieroglyphics. So, hieroglyphics could actually be written in almost any direction. It could be written left to right, right to left, top to bottom. No pronunciation is needed. So they didn't need any periods, they didn't need any commas. The goal of hieroglyphics was just to make them look like art. They just wanted the hieroglyphics to look pretty. They didn't really care about all the punctuation, the spelling and grammar that we do today when we proofread our essays. They just wanted it to look pretty. Like, so you could see here, this one I can see is writing from top to bottom, but hieroglyphics could be written in any direction. Isn't that so different? Imagine, guys, that we had to write in hieroglyphics for all of our essays. I made you guys write in hieroglyphics. That'd be a little tough. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys, these are 3 new vocabulary words, 3 more new vocabulary words. So, actually, in ancient Egypt, not everyone knew how to write in hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics was very complicated, as you could see all those little pictures that you guys were describing, that little artwork. So they had people called scribes. These were people who were trained to write in hieroglyphics, and they would start training at a very young age, maybe 6 or 7, and they would start training to write in these hieroglyphic symbols. So that's really interesting. Not all of them could. And you guys are going to be scribes today. because you guys are going to be making your own hieroglyphics for later on. So, what does anyone think? Do you guys think that the ancient Egyptians used paper? Do you think they had paper to write on like me and you? So they used papyrus. Can we say that word together? Papyrus. One more time, papyrus. Papyrus is a type of paper in ancient Egyptians wrote on, and it was made from actually like a plant called a papyrus plant. So that was one thing that was one way that ancient Egyptians used to write on, and they also used this other thing called a cartouche, which was a nameplate. It was an ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic nameplate. So I actually have a cartouche to show you guys in my hand here. This is a cartouche that I got along 2 years ago from Egypt, and it actually has my name written in a little hieroglyphic letters. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but you could see they kind of have symbols and they're written from top to bottom. So this is in a cartouche, and we write our names on it. So that was so many vocabulary words. You guys did such a great job listening, but now it's time to create. So remember this little cartouche I had? You guys are actually going to be writing your name on your own cartouche for this activity. So time to create. Write your name in hieroglyphics on your own cartouche. So can you guys get out all your materials, all the materials that I asked you guys to bring to class? Can you have that with you? So I want you guys to have your printed out cartouche template. I want you guys to say the name cartouche a little bit one more time for me, because it gets a little tricky. Cartouche. So I want you guys to have your printed out cartouche template. I want you guys to have your printed out hieroglyphic alphabet, because we're going to refer to this when we're trying to make our name. I want you guys to have your pencil, because I want you guys to draw first, and then I want you guys to have your your oil pastels with you, because these are going to make our drawings very, very beautiful, our color very rich. Remember, the whole goal of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics was to make it beautiful. So that's what we're going to try to do. So when you're drawing these, I want you guys to keep in mind to make sure it's neat and make sure it looks pretty, because we want to be just like the ancient Egyptians, and we're going to be copycats of the ancient Egyptians today, okay? Okay, so I have the directions here. So first, you're going to look at your hieroglyphics alphabet sheet, and you're going to find the letters in your name. So if your name is really long and you don't want to draw all the symbols, you could write your nickname on the cartouche if you wanted to. So let's see. For example, I would write C would be the first letter of my name. It's Crystal, so I'd put C, and then I would draw it with my pencil. The symbol for C, and I'd keep going. So remember, I want you guys to draw your hieroglyphic alphabets from top to bottom, just so it's more authentic to the real deal that we have. Okay, and then you're going to keep going, and then once you're done, I want you guys to color them in beautifully with your oil pastels. Okay, I'm going to show you guys an example. So this is my example that I made of my cartouche nameplate. So I drew it. As you can see, it's the same thing that I'm showing you guys on the screen. I drew my little symbols. Don't worry if they're not perfect. We just want to try to make sure that they look similar, but this doesn't have to be perfect. Don't worry. And mine isn't even perfect. And then I drew the symbols here, and I colored it with my beautiful rich oil pastels. They're a little bit more richer and deeper in color than crayons are. And they give us like this bold appearance. Remember, when you're using your oil pastels, to press down on the oil pastel so you could get a very rich color. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys some time to work on that, and then we're gonna come back together. Okay, I see that everyone is done. So let's see. Hmm. I'm so proud of all of you guys because I'm looking at your work and it looks so amazing. It looks like you guys are ancient Egyptians who just drew your hieroglyphics. It actually looks better than ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. I wish that ancient Egyptians could see how well you guys did. So because you guys did so great, I want you guys to do a gallery walk. I want you guys to look around as your classmates work. I want you guys to go around and look and see your classmates work. I want you guys to see and share out your hieroglyphics because I want you guys, because I think you guys did such a fantastic job, and it'd be so nice to see the different colors, the different techniques, the little symbols that you guys drew, the different drawings that all your classmates did, because everyone's work is individual and unique in their own way, and I love to see the colors that one person used and the patterns. Or if some person wrote their name at the side, if they didn't. So I want you guys to come back, go look at your classmates, and then come back. Okay, I see everyone's back. So our final thought of the day, I want us to reflect because you guys did such an amazing job on today's lesson. Such an amazing job. Give yourself 2 pats on the back. Give yourself 2 pats on the back. So I want us to reflect. So, first question. What is one thing that you guys learned today? Can somebody tell me one thing that you learned today? Think a little bit. And then after that question, I want you guys to think, why is it important to learn about ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics? You guys are probably like, Miss Crystal, you're crazy. Why am I learning about something that happened way back in the days? How is this even relevant? So I'm gonna give you guys 1 minute to think about that. Okay, Sabrina. So you learned Egyptian hieroglyphics were like pictures and they use symbols over 1,000 to write. That was a great response. I think that was great. Egyptian hieroglyphics use so many different little symbols to like write. And why is it important to learn about her? Mateo? Yeah, it's important to learn about other people's cultures. I think that was a really great answer too. So hieroglyphics are historically important because they teach us about ancient Egypt's history, cultures, life, what life was like in ancient Egypt. And ancient Egypt was such an important part of our history. We had so many different things that came. We had so many different rivers and we got so many different food. We had so many, it was such an important part of our culture. And I don't want to give too much away. That's why I'm not saying enough because we're going to learn a lot about ancient Egypt in tomorrow's lessons when we look at the Nile River and we discover like what life was like. But right now we just focus on the writing. So once again, boys and girls, you guys did an excellent job. Say it with me. Excellent job. You guys did such a great job on today's lesson. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And I want to remember, leave your hieroglyphics. I want to hang them up. Bye, everyone.